Hello and welcome to Bay 1, this is Rafael Maraxi. We're just going over a few quick updates to Robocraft that have been released over the last couple of days. I haven't really been doing individual ones because I know was going to be a few hotfixes, so let's just get to taking a look at things. So since the maximum loadout patch, there were some updates last week, some minor hotfixes, but there have also been a bunch of updates or hotfixes, not really hotfixes, but balance changes. A lot of the things are relating to lock-on missile or the missile launcher balancing. It was a little bit weak after the new versions and with the introduction of the shields, etc. So the lock-on time's been reduced back down to 2 seconds, which is actually the original lock-on time from when it first launched, and that actually got increased just before maximum loadout came out. Laser fire rates have been nerfed down, mostly because they were kind of ridiculous on the lower end lasers, and they're still a little bit difficult to use on longer range, but that's intentional. Because for longer range combat you're supposed to be using rails and stuff like that. But yeah, I can see why they were needed, mostly because one mega laser had way too much fire rate, and it's now down to 0.5 times the fire rate of 6 as opposed to 0.64 times. So I mean, yeah, basically I can't do the math in my head, but that's about a 25% reduction, which is pretty significant. Increased plasma and mega plasma power costs, so the energy drain on those has gone up pretty significantly, and you can definitely feel it. Reduced aeroflak power consumption, so now aeroflak is a little bit more viable. Other things, there were a bunch of issues with the RP gain and stuff like that. Now you've got the notes section here, which you can pretty much ignore it because this has been reverted, and FreeJam are pursuing a different method of doing the RP adjustments and all of that kind of stuff. So let's go to the new tab, which this is today's update. There won't be any download. This is mostly done on the actual server side, so they don't actually need to update the clients for this. But mostly they've decided to change how RP is earned. So you'll see some stats here, RP per minute, blah blah blah, all of this kind of crap. So they've increased the RP gain overall, but that's 9.3. So let's take a look at what the latest update is, which I think this is a different date as well. So 10.3. So yeah, you think, okay, you've got all those RP curves and stuff like that, and now there's yet another patch update. So a lot of the weapons, etc., will have had their prices reduced, and there's a lot of I can go through and read this if you really want, but it's on the screen there. So this is what Drognin was saying. Hi all, we've had a lot of passionate feedback regarding the recent RP changes, and as always it's a progressive loop of change, feedback. So here's our next iteration of changes. So here's the changes we intend to make for later today. First, well, it's already been done anyway, so firstly, we'd like to address the changes we made which increased minimum RP earned and decreased maximum RP earned in TDM. Our intent was to help boost the RP income of below average skilled players so they felt they could make progress regardless, and to lower the bonus obtained for doing exceptionally well to something far more reasonable, which I can kind of understand that, but it looks like they actually went a little bit overboard on that front. So, and what is that? Hi Bay 1, I am here again. Hi Ryan Lowe. So anyway, back to the text. What we found was that it was more efficient to run a TDM, spot some players and die than it was to do exceptionally well. This also meant that our above average skilled players were drained of their desire to be exceptional, basically play the game. So we're reverting both of those changes. So you can more or less ignore any of the RP changes for the last few days. And now only everything today applies. Secondly, we've decided to make a change based on feedback we recently received from players telling us that there's a huge RP bracket with nothing in it, which is actually very, very valid. You have the 1 million to 10 million RP bracket, there's nothing to buy. It seems a little bit weird there aren't more gradual items within that bracket, and it's been a little bit frustrating that it's not hours and hours of play, because in reality, if you're doing well, you can earn a lot of RP really, really quickly. But if you're not doing well, or if you don't have the bonuses or anything like that, it can take can take time. And for average players, which unfortunately there are a lot of average players in Robocraft, then it will take a lot longer. Whereas for the players that I've been playing the game for a while. I wouldn't say I'm great at the game, but I would probably expect to be somewhat above average. Maybe not in the raw combat or anything like that, but either way, I just know more of how the game works. But either way, so back to that. So yeah, anyway, the huge RP bracket means something is either 1 million or 10 million RP with very little in between. Since we're already making RP related changes, and since this will partially counteract the reduction in RP earned in TDM, we permanently discounted the prices of many end game components. So this is where it gets to a lot of the higher end weapons, not necessarily the modules and stuff. They will have received some discounts, but the actual higher, what we would have considered the tier 10 weapons will have been reduced in price. Anyway, so here we go. Finally, we also want to make sure the correct information is circulation. If our community has given us feedback that they dislike recent changes, then that's great. A silent community is far worse than an angry one. It's good that they've learned that. But it's also important to make sure people aren't being misled by unverified information. And again, that's a very valid point. I can't state the number of games that I've been involved with that just wouldn't release that kind of stuff. And when you actually expose all of the values to the community, they can often point out things that you've never really considered. So, crowdsourcing is powerful. Anyway, so carry on. So the list of new prices below includes the hours of play necessary to earn the RP in order to purchase the components in the list for an average player without 2 times daily win bonuses or 5% premium bonus, which according to this is usually about 30% in game. And yeah, that's about right. You've usually got 4 to 6 players that have got the bonus. Yeah, that's true. So you'll actually obtain them much faster than the list suggests, and even quicker if you're above average in skill. It was calculated that 1,000 plus hours are necessary for a megabot and 100 plus hours for a module, but this is incorrect. Even assuming the prices post-nerf and pre-price reduction, you're looking at 140 hours for 2 times mega legs, or 2 mega legs, and 6 mega lasers, and 20 hours for a module, both assuming you lose 100% of your TDM matches. Remember, these are endgame content. Now, the problem with getting accurate figures or the number of hours to actually get certain things, it's very true that it's not necessarily 1,000 hours, or it's not necessarily as little as 100 hours. There's a lot of downtime in between games. So this is assuming that these figures are going to be assuming that you're literally playing back-to-back games. You're not stopping. You're not really stuck in queue that long. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how they got these, but if you are literally just back-to-back gaming, then 100 hours is about right, maybe. For a megabot, or 150 hours. But if you are not able to do that, if there's the downtime, if you're platooning with other people, if taking advantage of the social aspects, then it could actually take a lot longer. But the other advantage there is if you are in a platoon, if you're with people that you're more experienced with playing with, or that their play styles, then often you'll end up with much higher rewards anyway. But taking into account that this is assuming you're getting no bonuses or anything like that, so yeah, we'll take a look at the actual chart here. So FreeJam are estimating that a Blink module should take about 18.6 hours to earn. I mean, I don't know. I need to see what the RP rewards are like at the moment, but I know that I was earning one of those in 10 games. But after you get to a certain point, you stop paying attention to how much you're actually earning. DSM 19.3 hours, rocket launching 14.8 hours. So if you got the ×2 or other bonuses, then you can basically halve these or cut at least a third off of them. Aeroflax, all of that kind of stuff, and then you got the nanos and the lasers, about an hour, or 3/4 of an hour or half an hour. I think you can probably earn a lot of that a little bit more easily, but we'll see. I don't know I haven't paid attention to the actual rewards these days. Never forget that many of us here at FreeJam are always on the forums, blah blah blah. So these are just the different ways you can actually communicate with FreeJam if you want, and yeah, just be vocal. So this is all live on the actual game now, so please take a look. And I'm probably going to put a poll at the end of this video just to see what you think. Do you think this is a positive change? Do you think this is a negative change? Or are you somewhat in the middle? But anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.